Welcome back to English, and today we are doing Polytopia Tribe Fearless, only S tiers though. So let's start with the Drylands, S tier, cymanti hexapods. They're amazing, spam a bunch of hexapods, and before your opponent gets roads, you can basically kill one shot every opponent's units with cymanti except a polytar, which it almost kills it. So it's basically a one shot, and it doesn't deal a lot of damage. It just deals 1 HP, so it's not that big of it. Cymanti is definitely, and they can get early centipedes. Early centipedes are just amazing. You can just shove it into your opponent. Cymanti is definitely yes. By the way, I'm only talking about small to normal dryland. I'm not gonna be talking about tiny, and not gonna be talking about huge and massive maps, because honestly I don't play them. I play tiny, but this also works for cymanti on tiny, but tiny pangea, I think Illyrion is just the better S on tiny. Illyrion is also on Drylands. I think Illyrion is just behind Magi on Drylands because of their economy, and those polytars are amazing. They are even better on Pangea, but we're gonna get back into Pangea later. Imperius is very close to S tier, I would say, because of their economy. You only need one tech to upgrade the cities, and you can get riders very early on and get roads and counter every single one of these tribes. The main downside is their slow early expansion, so I'm gonna put it maybe low S tier, definitely, and that's it. There's nothing, no other tribes are S tier. The only other tribe maybe Zabaz, because same thing as Imperius, they can upgrade basically almost all of their cities with farming and just rush into riding and counter every single one of these tribes. Let's go to Pangea. Pangea, I'd say Illyrion is the best not by far, but it depends on RNG if you get good spawn or not, but usually it's the best. I play it a lot. After that, it's Umagi. Umagi is great with those riders. They can expand very fast, and they can you can prevent with riders. You can prevent your opponent, like Illyrion or cymanti, which are S tier, by the way. Also on Pangeas, you can prevent them from taking cities early on or ruins, and they're just amazing. The reason I'm putting cymanti lower than Umagi is because hexapods are better in a large open space like Drylands than in congested areas like Pangea, because Pangea is more congested, and Illyrion can get a bunch of polytars, and you can just rush with them on turn 5. You can have 10 polytars, maybe if you get 2 cities, and then you have 3 cities, and you just spam polytars. Maybe you can get up to 10 units and just rush them all in to your opponent, and they can't. There is nothing they can do that. Even if they had, I don't know, 3 riders or 4 riders. But you have to upgrade your cities if you're playing Magi. You can't just spam riders. You don't have a good enough economy. Even if you have, let's say, 4 riders, 10 units is just too much. Or let's say 2 hexapods by turn 5. That's gonna be hard to get 2 hexapods. But let's say you even have 2 hexapods over 10 units of Illyrion is just gonna smash them. That's why Illyrion is better on Pangea. Everything else, the 4th place would be, I don't know, it's really close with Imperius and Bardur, of course, and Zabazi, but they're not S tier, definitely. Now we are moving on lakes. On lakes, depending on size, let's start with the small size. Small size, I think it's cymanti. Umagi is definitely not S tier on lakes, and then it's Illyrion. Or on bigger lakes, like let's say normal, everything above normal, Illyrion is better than cymanti. These are 2 S tier in my opinion. And Imperius is also good, but not that good. It's not S tier, definitely. Why is cymanti good on small lakes is because they can get that early centipede and just rush them into your opponent, while opponent didn't figure out their economy and didn't get that they only have early units, and they can't really counter that centipede that's coming in boosted and sieging your city. It's gonna be very hard, and let's say they have couple of booster hexapods behind it to clean up the mess. There's just nothing you can do. But on normal lakes, I think Illyrion is just better because of their superior economy, and they can get bombers onto the lake, and because they can afford it, of course, and just pressure cymanti enormously. But it also depends on their sanctuary spot, so it's really cost on normal lakes, but on small lakes it's cymanti definitely. On large lakes, Illyrion definitely takes the crown there. Now we are moving on into, it's not whatever, let's go to continents. On continents it's Aquarion, definitely Aquarion. You just saw my video. Yeah, Aquarion, there is not, you can be at Aquarion. Aquarion is definitely the top of the S tier, nobody's even close to it. Second place, like high A tier, maybe low S tier, but way behind it's Illyrion because of their amazing economy. They can get bunch of rammers, bombers and scouts, and just destroy your enemies, but it's way below Aquarion. You just saw my video, I beat to Illyrion place. There's nothing you can do against Aquarion, so I would say maybe a low S tier, high A tier, and then after that, I mean, Polar, no, it's not, it's definitely not, Polar is definitely not the S tier. Chinchi, I mean, you can get a bunch of early giants, maybe you can put them in the water. I'd say in small, on small lakes, or not small lakes, small continents, it's definitely, you can definitely make a case for Chinchi, because if you can get, let's say 3 giants on turn 3, you get some good 4 spots. You can get, let's say, 3 giants on turn 3 and just get them into water, get 3 juggernauts and move into Aquarion. Maybe you can beat them like I beat them in one of my videos, but it's gonna be very hard. So I'd say depending on RNG. Again, it's also depending on RNG for Illyrion, because of the sanctuary spots. Maybe you just get farming and you can't do anything. But you can just get forestry early on. I'd say Chinchi could be S tier, but it's definitely not big. And that's gonna be it. Maybe I know, because they can rush philosophy and trade, and same thing for Zebazi, because they have some great market spot, but it's definitely not in S tier. Now we are moving on Archipelago. On Archipelago, definitely Polaris is just unbeatable there. They are definitely taking the crown there. On small to tiny Archipelago, cymanti. I think on tiny definitely cymanti, because they can rush. If they rush hexapods, they get three booster hexapod on let's say turn 5 and snipe those moonies. Then cymanti is definitely. But it's depending on RNG if they spawn close to it. So it definitely depends on RNG, on luck. But let's say if they don't spawn next to Polaris and they can snipe those moonies, and Polaris is able to get sleds and economy, then it's definitely Polaris. But if that's not true, cymanti definitely takes the crown. On small, like not on normal. On normal, maybe again, if it's gonna be very unlucky if Polaris spawns right next to cymanti and they can just get a bunch of hexapods into those into Polaris, while Polaris didn't even get sleds or riders, then it's definitely cymanti. But usually Polaris takes the crown there. And Aquarion could be S tier. It's close to being S tier. It's a low S tier, a high A tier, because they can get away just with 2 techs. Again, if they're playing as Polaris, they get destroyed. If they're playing as cymanti, those boosted Raichis, they're great. It's gonna be tight. So depending on who they play, I'd say they are low S tier. Now we are moving on. Waterworld, I'd say, depending on size, of course, it depends on size. I'd say normal. Let's start with small. I think small is Polaris. Should be Polaris. And I'm gonna do something controversial here. I think cymanti is better than Aquarion on Waterworld, on small water. I have a video showing that they just get destroyed, because if they both have 2 cities, like Aquarion can't do anything about cymanti. They can get trade. They can get a bunch of, what is it called, spores? No, algae. They can get a bunch of algae and spam the muxus into it. And before that, hexapods are gonna be amazing, I guess, against Polaris, because they're way cheaper than sled. And if they're boosted, they can snipe moonies. Again, it depends where do they spawn. If Polaris can get 3 cities and cymanti is stuck on 1, then Polaris has an advantage. But if cymanti can get at least 1 city, then I say cymanti is favored to win. And then Aquarion is again low. I mean, I don't think it's S tier definitely on small Waterworld. On normal Waterworld, it's different story. Aquarion takes the crown there. I think I played with Aquarion on Waterworld a couple of times. I might be wrong with here. I think Aquarion is better than both cymanti and Polaris, because the thing that makes Polaris so good on Archipelago is they can connect all of their cities. They can get a bunch of cities, and they only need one tech sleds and connect all of their cities. Usually, I mean, sometimes they get a bad spawn and they can't connect their cities with outposts, but if they don't get a bad spawn, then Polaris is amazing on Archipelago. But when it comes to Waterworld, they can connect their cities. There's gonna be a limited amount of cities, and they usually can connect those with outposts, and they'll need to get more techs, while Aquarion can just get away with just with fishing usually, and maybe they need aquaculture to maybe boost their economy even more. So on normal water worlds and bigger, it's definitely Aquarion. And I think that's it. So thank you all for watching, and maybe write in comments what do you think about this tier list. This is only the S tier list. I might do something like this in future. I was thinking about doing what should you get if your opponent is spamming giants, maybe if your opponent is going with right roads. I was thinking about that, so I might do that. And I say thank you all for watching, and see you all in the next one.